The Jimmy Z Show.
Let me share with you something that Dick Morris just wrote today. You're just not going to believe this. I'm lost for words. Already, we have Republicans acting like they didn't hear a damn thing on November 2nd. According to Dick Morris, the formerly solid wall of Republican opposition to any tax increase has now already been, I added the word already, it has already been breached, and it's up to us to repair it and plug it up. 3 normally conservative senators, Tom Coburn of Oklahoma, Mike Crapo of Idaho, and Judd Gregg of New Hampshire, have voted in favor of the Bowles-Simpson Deficit Reduction Commission's recommendations for massive tax hikes. Coburn, Crapo, and Gregg are laboring under the grand illusion that tax increases can reduce the deficit. In fact, the record is the exact opposite. Tax increases dampen economic growth, and Dick writes here about everything we know about raising taxes. Raising taxes never brings in the revenue it's supposed to, and because higher taxes hurt the economy, higher taxes increase mandatory entitlement spending on Medicaid, welfare, unemployment compensation, and food stamps, thereby eradicating spending cuts that may have accompanied them. Now listen. Coburn, Crapo, and Gregg's vote endorses and sends to Congress a report that calls for a 9-year tax hike of $1.3 trillion, raising the federal tax burden permanently to 21% of GDP as opposed to the average of 18% to date. That source is the Americans for Tax Reform. It even eliminates congressional control over tax increases. They would become automatic after 2013 unless the Commission's proposals are implemented. And, it even gets worse. The Commission called for higher tax rates, reductions of indexing of tax brackets for inflation. It would raise the capital gains tax from 15 to 23%. It would raise Social Security taxes by up to 50% for taxpayers making up to or over $150,000 a year. It would double gasoline taxes. Oh, my God. And set the inheritance tax permanently at 45%. Now, this is something we would expect from Democrats, but not Republicans. Coburn, Crapo, and Gregg had done great harm to our cause by endorsing the idea that a centrist approach of combining tax increases and spending cuts is the answer to our deficit. Their approach would lock in Obama's massive increase in government spending. When Obama took office, federal, state, and local governments combined accounted for 35% of our economy. Now they are up to 45%, ahead of Britain and Germany. We must roll back the deficit through spending cuts, not ratify it through tax increases. Let me say that again. When Obama took office, this was only 2 years ago, federal, state, and local governments combined accounted for 35% of our economy. That's already too high. And now, just in the time that Obama has been president, that has increased to 45%. Federal, state, and local governments account for nearly half of our economy is government. Holy mackerel, this has got to stop. And these 3 Republicans vote for it? Judd Gregg is retiring, so he doesn't care. And Tom Coburn and Crapo, what's his name? Mike Crapo, were just reelected. Neither said anything about endorsing big tax increases as soon as the ballots were cast. They hid their true intentions from us. Please drown Coburn and Crapo in letters and phone calls to protest their betrayal of our cause. We must make sure that they do not back these tax increases on the floor of the Senate, and that their defection does not encourage other rhinos to break ranks. Boy, I'll tell you, this pisses me off. So the link for Dick Morris's column is in my show notes. You can go here and get all the information on Tom Coburn and Mike Crapo. Addresses and phone numbers, but let me give you a couple of phone numbers just in case you want to call and you're listening to the show. You can pause the program if you're listening at thejimmyzshow.com and make the call. the phone number for Tom Coburn. Area code 202-224-5754. The main phone number for Mike Crapo. Area code 202-224-6142. Those numbers are both in Washington, D.C., where these sons of bitches are right now. And don't talk to me about my language. I am holding back big time. And if you want to call them in their hometown offices, Tom Coburn, area code 918-581-7651. Mike Crapo in Idaho, area code 208-522-9779. Let these bastards have it. I can't stand this anymore. We just got done with the elections a month ago, 3 days longer than a month ago. And these guys are already saying, no, we got to have massive tax increases. I don't know what to say. And these are supposedly conservatives. What the hell is a rhino like John McCain gonna do? John McCain, Susan Collins, Olympia Snow, Lindsey Graham, I guess they're all gonna vote for this too. Son of a bitch, I can't believe this. I'm sorry, I'm swearing, I know, but believe me, there's a lot stronger words I'd like to use. You know, this kind of voting by Republicans is the best argument for a third party. And I don't know how you tell people who voted trusting the Republicans one more time on November 2nd. And so many people told me online, hey, you know what? I have just had it with the Republicans, but I'm going to give them one more chance. If they blow it this time, screw it. We got to start the third party. The Conservative Party or the Tea Party, whatever you want to call it, people want that third party now because of this. Because of what we're seeing these Republicans do. Supposedly conservative Republicans voting for a $1.3 trillion tax increase. Playing into the hands of Obozo. This tax increase is exactly what the Democrats want. And we have conservative Republicans voting for it? Oh my God. I don't know what to say. I just want to go crazy. Blah! What the hell did we do on November 2nd? Weren't you listening, you bastards? Oh, man. We're always going to have Democrats tell Americans that we're going to have to raise taxes. That's what Democrats do. But if we have conservative Republicans going along with it, then maybe the two-party system really is out of date. And we can't trust Republicans at all. Now, I was arguing before the election that we had to give this to the Republicans because the Tea Party is pushing Republicans to the right and that conservative Republicans generally understand what the American people want. And now you've got Coburn and Crapo and Gregg all voting in favor of a massive tax increase. I don't know how you tell people in the Tea Party now, don't start a third party. Third parties are losers. Because I can't sit here and tell you that I can go along with the Republican Party. The Republican Party is either going to stand up for the principles that the American people demand, or the American people are just going to say, hey, to hell with you then, we're starting a third party. And right now, I'm not arguing for a third party, but I don't know how to argue against it anymore. Not with this kind of crap. So when I get done with the show today, I'm going to call these rat bastards. I'll let them know exactly how I feel. And maybe I'll get online and send them a link to my show so they can hear what I said if they want to. But Tom Coburn, you better... I just praised the guy for what he said. We listened to that soundbite in the first hour, and now everything I said is out the window. I was entirely wrong about the guy. He's a traitor. Same thing for Mike Crapo, a traitor. The people in Idaho especially, and the people in Oklahoma, need to get on the phone and let this guy know. It's intolerable. We are not going to have you do this. I would rather have a Democrat in there because then I know the Democrat's going to vote for higher taxes. A conservative Republican like Tom Coburn voting for this is a travesty. It is unacceptable. And I'm not going to sit here and put up with it. It's not going to happen. I'm Jimmy Z. We'll take the last break and come back with much more of the Jimmy Z Show. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to The Jimmy Z Show.